Welcome to the Deep Dive, your shortcut to being truly well-informed. Today, we're tackling the Fulbright Scholarship, a big one. You asked us to really get into its selection criteria, and the sources you shared point to some, well, fascinating, sometimes overlooked parts of this program. We're talking, of course, about one of the top opportunities for master's and PhD study in the U.S. It covers, tuition, travel, living costs, the works, and its recipients. Yes, they are definitely considered extremely brilliant people. So, our mission today is to unpack this complex process. Think of it less like a checklist and more like a strategic puzzle, maybe, where everything academics, your story, it all needs to fit just right. We've looked through insights from loads of successful applicants, mentors, years of data, really, to give you the blueprint, the hidden connections, those aha moments you need. Okay, let's unpack this.
Yeah, and that strategic view is exactly why digging into these criteria is so important. It's not just, did I get good grades? It's about aligning your whole profile with what Fulbright actually wants. This deep dive should give you a clear roadmap, basically. Show you how to present yourself strategically to, well, maximize your chances.
That's a great way to put it. Strategy.
Mhm.
Speaking of strategy, this first point is huge, the GRE. Our sources are pretty clear it carries significant weight, like roughly 30% of your application score hinges on the GRE. That's a lot. Suggests it's a real power play.
It absolutely is. And what's really interesting here is why it's such a big opportunity. See, unlike your CGPA, which is kind of set in stone from the past, right? The GRE is something you can actively work on now. So for applicants maybe with an average GPA or even a lower one, a strong GRE score can make a massive difference. It can really supplement the application. We've seen actual cases. Someone with, believe it or not, less than a 2.5 CGPA gets selected.
Wow, real?
Yeah, primarily because they absolutely nailed the GRE. Score over 330, it shows it can be an equalizer. And bonus, a score like that over 330. It can also seriously help your case for getting into top-tier universities. Think Harvard, MIT, even as a Fulbright scholar.
Okay, that is a game changer. Definitely offers a path for people who might think their GPA holds them back.
Yeah.
So let's talk specifics. For someone aiming for a master's or a PhD, what GRE scores should they be aiming for? What's the benchmark?
Good question. For PhD programs, the lowest score we generally see accepted is around 290. But honestly, it's pretty rare to see someone get in with lower than that unless they have truly exceptional other qualifications compensating for it.
Okay. And for masters?
For masters, you really want to be aiming for above 300. That's the ideal target. Now, sure, there are always rare exceptions. Maybe someone has incredible work experience or some other major achievement. But hitting those benchmarks, 290 plus for PhD, 300 plus for masters, that gives you the strongest possible position. It's about setting yourself up well.
Got it. Thanks for clarifying those targets. Very helpful. All right, so moving past the GRE, our sources point to Category 2. This holds two other really important factors. They seem to have more or less equal weightage, your CGPA, cumulative grade point average, and your application essays. Let's tackle GPA first.
Right. The CGPA. It's vital, especially because, like we said, it can sometimes balance out a lower GRE score. It's another way to show your academic chops. We've seen the flip side, too. PhD students with multiple gold medals, maybe a perfect 4.0 CGPA, they've made it into the cohort even with a GRE score maybe just around that 290 mark.
So it works both ways.
Exactly. And how it's looked at. For master's applicants, they mainly focus on your undergraduate degree CGPA. For PhD folks, they'll typically look at the average of both your bachelor's and master's CGPA. Shows sustained performance.
Okay. And then the essays. Personal statement, study objectives.
Yes, the essays. These are, well, perhaps the most subjective part of the whole thing. And honestly, they can make or break your application.
Make or break. That sounds intense.
It can be. But here's the powerful part. Unlike your past grades or scores, the essays are what you control right now. This is where you craft your story, your narrative for the future, our advice. Create a really compelling story that fits well with the Fulbright philosophy. Understanding what kind of candidate they're looking for is just key, absolutely key for writing something that grabs their attention.
That makes total sense. Taking control of the narrative, aligning it. So for that personal statement, what does a compelling story actually look like in practice? Can you give us a structure maybe beyond just, showing impact?
Definitely. We usually suggest a flow like this. Start with your current unique profile, what makes you you right now. Then connect that to your specific U.S. education plans, why this program, why the U.S., and finally link it all directly to your actionable return plans. What are you going to do with this experience back home? The real skill is weaving these three parts together with a story, a cohesive narrative. Show how your past, your unique background, your passions led you here, how the U.S. education fits, and crucially, how you'll make a real tangible difference when you return.
So it's not just about saying, I want to help my country.
No, definitely not. Truly compelling stories often show a really deep personal connection to your field. They paint a clear picture of how the U.S. education gives you tools or perspectives you can't get at home. To tackle specific local problems, it's about showing almost an entrepreneurial spirit, that you're seeking knowledge for a clear, impactful purpose.
Right. That focus on actionable and specific is important. Fulbright isn't looking for vague promises, is it?
Not at all. They want concrete, realistic vision.
Can you give maybe an example or two? What does tangible impact look like in different fields?
Sure. Okay, let's say you're an urban planner. Your plan shouldn't just be improve my city. Too vague. Instead, maybe you detail how you'll adapt sustainable infrastructure models you learned in the U.S. to tackle, say, public transport efficiency in your specific hometown. You might even mention potential local partners or challenges you anticipate. Shows you've thought it through.
Okay, I see.
Or maybe you're in public health. Your plan could outline a specific strategy to boost vaccination rates in underserved rural areas back home. Maybe designing culturally sensitive campaigns or proposing a new mobile clinic model based on something you studied. It's that level of specificity, showing a clear path from learning to doing, demonstrating you've really thought about how you'll make change happen.
That really clarifies it. Strategic, specific, actionable. Great advice. Okay, let's shift gears. Category 3, letters of recommendation. The power of your network, your reputation. Sources say 3 letters are required.
That's right, 3. And who writes them? That's also strategic. If you're a working professional, 1 letter must come from a colleague or supervisor, someone who can speak to your work ethic, your skills on the job. Another letter should be academic, showing your scholarly side. The third one, it can be either professional or academic, depending on your profile and strengths.
And the key is choosing the right people.
Absolutely. Choose recommenders who genuinely know you well in a good capacity, people you trust to write an excellent letter, and I can't stress this enough. The letters need to be unique, not generic templates. They should talk about specific achievements, unique projects you led or were part of. What makes you stand out? Where did you show leadership or innovation or maybe resilience? Specifics matter.
It sounds like getting those letters right is almost as crucial as the work itself. You need recommenders who will go beyond the template. Okay, that brings us to category 5. This one introduces priority subject areas. Sounds like something applicants really need to tune into.
Yes, definitely pay attention here. Fulbright actually advertises these priority areas each year. They often reflect current global needs or specific needs within your country. Recently, we've seen things like energy, agriculture, education, water management pop up.
And if your field aligns?
Well, candidates in these priority areas do get some extra consideration. You might hear it called extra points. It gives you a bit of a strategic edge.
But it doesn't rule out others.
Crucially, no. It absolutely does not mean applicants in, say, health or fine arts MFA or business won't get selected. Not at all. It's just a boost for those aligned areas. And another important point. This priority area focus might apply to some countries' specific Fulbright programs, but not others.
Ah, okay.
So you absolutely must check the specifics for the program in your country. Go to your local Fulbright Commission's website, do your homework, be well informed.
Good advice. Check local details.
And still within this category 4, there's work and research experience. For PhD applicants, strong research experience is definitely preferred. The stronger and more relevant your research, the better, more points. For master's programs, relevant work experience is usually essential.
And the common thread.
Relevancy. The relevancy of your experience, work, or research to your future goals and what you plan to study. You need to use that study objectives essay to clearly connect the dots. Highlight the specific area you want to work in after your studies. Show that strong link. Past experience, Fulbright studies, future impact.
Okay, so alignment is the name of the game there, too. It all needs to connect. Now, the next categories really show how Fulbright looks beyond just the numbers and traditional metrics. They're building a diverse cohort. Let's talk category V, underrepresented applicants.
Yes, this is really fundamental to the Fulbright mission, fostering understanding through different voices. So applicants from underrepresented communities or minorities, they are specifically encouraged to apply. This includes differently abled applicants, people from religious or gender minorities, and females. Fulbright is very clear. No discrimination based on gender, religion, race, sex, or disability. And for female applicants, especially in many developing countries where, let's face it, women often aren't as well represented in higher ed or leadership, they are actively encouraged to apply. It's about promoting equity.
And it's not just about ticking a box saying you belong to a group, is it?
Yeah.
The real skill is weaving that into your story. How do you strategically, but genuinely, talk about how your unique background shaped you, your perspective, your resilience, your passion?
Precisely. It's about deep reflection. How has your journey shaped you? For instance, maybe an applicant from a remote area talks about how limited resources actually fueled their drive for a PhD, highlighting their unique determination and the specific contribution they can make back home because of that experience. Or maybe a female applicant who overcame societal barriers discusses how that shaped her commitment to empowering others in her field. It's about showing how your lived experience gives you a distinct viewpoint, how that perspective will enrich the cultural exchange during Fulbright, and ultimately how it will amplify your impact when you return. They're not looking for tokens. They want the unique insights and strength that comes from diverse backgrounds.
That's a really important distinction. Perspective and resilience, not just identity. So following that line of thought, it's not just who you are, but maybe where you come from too. That leads us into category 6, about rural background.
Exactly. Applicants from rural areas or geographically underrepresented regions. They are also often given slight preference over those from big cities or metropolitan areas.
And the thinking behind that,
It connects back to the bigger picture. Fulbright really wants the cohort to represent all parts of the country, reflecting the true diversity of the nation. It's about making sure talent from every corner gets a chance. And also in this category, though the weightage might be smaller, you can get additional points for things like community involvement, volunteer work, extracurricular activities, other awards.
so those things do count.
They do. We can't put an exact number on the points, but successful applicants often use these experiences well. They're not just lines on a resume. They're proof of leadership, initiative, commitment to service qualities Fulbright really values. They can be important differentiators, especially when academic scores are close. Ultimately, Fulbright's goal here is to ensure the cohort represents the whole country, all provinces, all sorts of fields, health, engineering, business, agriculture, psychology, MFA, you name it. Because talent, as they understand, is everywhere. They want to empower people from all backgrounds to learn best practices and bring them home to benefit their communities.
Wow. Okay, this has been an incredibly thorough deep dive. We've really unpacked a lot about what it takes to become a Fulbright scholar. So let's try to synthesize. What does this all mean for you, the listener, thinking about this journey? We've hit the big ones. The strategic importance of the GRE, definitely. Crafting those compelling essays, huge. Getting strong, specific letters of recommendation. Aligning with priority areas if possible. Leveraging relevant experience and really highlighting those unique personal factors, underrepresented background, rural origin.
Yeah, and when you step back and look at all those pieces together, the Fulbright Scholarship, it's really more than just ticking off criteria, isn't it? It's fundamentally a call for people who can excel academically, yes, but who can also contribute meaningfully to that broader mission. Global understanding, knowledge exchange, it's about building that profile, telling that cohesive story that shows your potential impact, not just for you, but for your community, your country, showing you embody that spirit of exchange and service.
That's a really powerful way to frame it. It brings it all together. And that leaves you, our listener, with a really important question to reflect on. How will you weave together all the different threads of your unique profile? Your scores, yes, but also your personal story, your experiences, your background. How will you craft a narrative that doesn't just meet the criteria on paper, but genuinely resonates with that core Fulbright philosophy? How will you demonstrate that you are an indispensable part of their global vision, ready to translate potential into real impact back home? Something to think about how your own unique journey fits into that larger purpose.